Well, hello, friends and friends of First Baptist Tulsa. This is our midweek update for the 10th of September, 2025, and I hope you're ready for fall because here it comes. So before we get to the scripture today, I want to just make a few announcements and remind you on Sunday morning, when you pick up the announcement sheet, check out the QR code at the bottom. Really, our announcement sheet just gives the bullet points, the highlights. Scan the QR code. It will give you more detailed announcement on our website and more detailed information. But here's a few that I want you to know about this week. First of all, we're collecting mittens, gloves, warm hats for this winter. As we're a part of Trav's Coats for Kids and serving our community through that organization and project, we also want, for our part as a church, to make sure that gloves and hats are available as well. So when you pick those up, if you find them at Walmart on sale, grab a few, bring them down, drop them in the blue bins around the campus. Second, I want you to be aware that tonight we are having a special called business meeting at 5:45 in the Fellowship Hall, our lower auditorium. And the sole item on the agenda for tonight is the potential sale of our South Campus to another local church. And so we'll talk about the details tonight. That'll be a special call business meeting. We'll start our Wednesday night classes just a little bit late, plan on about a 6:15 start, so we're giving up a little bit of that time. That'll give us 30 minutes to handle that item of business, and if we need to talk about it longer, we will, but that will give us a good place to start. Also, I want you to be aware of Mother-Daughter Day, and again, all the detail will be on our website. That'll be coming up September 13th here at the church, 4th floor. I believe that's from 10 to noon on that Saturday. And so moms and daughters, please pay attention to that. Okay, now for the passage of Scripture for this week. We're in James chapter 3, and I'm encouraging you this week not only to read James 3, but to do a prayerful reading of James 3. And as you read through this, I want you to be aware of two major topics that are addressed in this chapter. By the way, the book of James very seldom mentions Jesus, but there's a lot here about how to live a Christ-honoring life. In fact, it seems like a lot of the topics that Jesus covered in the Sermon on the Mount are also covered here in the book of James. In some ways, it's a recapitulation of many of the ethics of what it means, the morals of what it means to be a follower of Jesus. But in chapter 3, there are two major sections. One is the first 12 verses that talk about the tongue. Now, here is a good opportunity to pray through how we speak and how we use our tongue. In fact, the kind of the overarching metaphor here is sometimes small parts of a ship, or small bits in the mouth of an animal can make a huge difference. And the tongue is so small when compared to the entire body, but what you do with it is important and can even be eternal. And so pray through. In fact, if you just come across that word tongue, just underline it. Pray, God, help me today to use my tongue well, that it would be like a spring of fresh water, not salt water, that would nourish people, that would encourage people, not discourage people. Take time. Maybe you pray for your teachers here. You can put a square. I said a few weeks ago, as you do a prayerful reading, you can underline the things that you pray for yourself. You can put a box around those things that you pray for others. And so take time in James chapter 3, verse 1 to pray for your teachers. And then to circle those things that make you honor God, that make you want to stop and worship God for a few moments. So pay attention to the teaching about the tongue in the first 12 verses. And then in the last part, from verse 13 on to the end of the chapter, verse 18, the topic here is true wisdom. And one of the benefits of true wisdom is that it brings about peace in one's life. And I think here a prayerful reading of the scripture is in order when it comes down to verse 17. The wisdom that comes from heaven is first of all, and here are some characteristics that are mentioned. And what if you were to take some time as you underline these words to pray for these characteristics in your life? Pure, peace-loving, considerate, submissive, full of mercy, good fruit, impartial, and sincere. You could spend all week just praying for those things over your life. But wisdom produces these kinds of characteristics in our life. So I'm encouraging this week, we're not in a hurry. You're not in a race to finish the book of James. Take your time, do a prayerful reading, pay attention to those things you need to pray for yourself, things you need to pray for others, and also characteristics that you can lift as an act of gratitude and worship to God. I love you. I love being your pastor, and God willing, I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.